It's 1974 in San Francisco, and the city is alive with the vibrancy of freedom, culture, and nightlife, especially in the Castro district. But beneath all that, a shadow lurks, one that's been haunting me for months now. The first call came on January 27th, 1974. A body was found at Ocean Beach. The victim, a middle-aged man, later identified as Gerald Kavanaugh, was found lying on the cold sand, his body riddled with stab wounds. But there was something almost deliberate about the scene. His shoes were placed neatly beside him, and what caught my attention the most was a small, hand-drawn sketch left on his person. A sketch of the victim's own face. Who does something like that? Who kills and then leaves their mark? An artistic one, like a twisted signature? At first, I thought it might be an isolated incident, maybe a robbery gone wrong, or someone targeting the vulnerable community. But the sketch? That was new. Something I hadn't seen in all my years as a detective. Still, it was only one murder. San Francisco is a big city after all, but I was wrong. It wasn't the last. Weeks later, I got another call. Another body, another man, Joseph J. Stevens, a well-known figure in the gay community. He had been discovered by the lake at Golden Gate Park, murdered in the same brutal fashion. Multiple stab wounds, and once again, his shoes were placed beside him, carefully. Another sketch, a different style, but clearly from the same hand. I remember sitting at my desk that night, staring at those sketches, wondering what kind of person would do this. Was it someone in the art world? Someone with a deep need to create, to immortalize their victims? I started visiting the local bars, asking questions, trying to find anyone who had seen something. But the fear was palpable. The LGBTQ plus community wasn't exactly trusting of law enforcement back then, and for good reason. But still, I had a job to do, and these were human lives, human beings that were being hunted. A name started to surface in the whispers, the Doodler. They said he was a quiet, unassuming young man. He would sit at bars, sketching, charming men into conversations, and offering to draw their portraits. Then, when the moment was right, he'd strike. Another victim, Klaus Chrisman, a well-dressed diplomat, was found not far from the Lincoln Park golf course. The same brutal method. By now, the media was in a frenzy. Everyone knew there was a serial killer on the loose, but what they didn't know was that he had a method. He was stalking, watching, waiting for the perfect time to lure these men to their deaths. The city was terrified. People were afraid to go out at night. Bars emptied earlier, and no one wanted to be alone. Still, the Doodler wasn't finished. I found myself chasing shadows, interviewing survivors who were too scared to speak up, and piecing together fragments of evidence. We even had a suspect, someone who matched the descriptions, but without solid proof, there was little we could do. Witnesses were reluctant, some scared of outing themselves, and others simply too terrified of this figure who could disappear so easily into the night. By 1975, 5 confirmed victims had been linked to this monster. Gerald Kavanaugh, Joseph Stevens, Klaus Chrisman, Frederick Capon, a Vietnam War veteran, and one unidentified man. Each one had their own life, their own story, and each was immortalized in the killer's sketches, as if that was their only legacy now. I remember walking those fog-covered streets, the mist swirling around me like the very mystery I was trying to unravel. It was like chasing a ghost. Every time we thought we were close, every time we thought we had a lead, it would vanish, just like the Doodler himself. And here I am, years later, staring at the same case files, haunted by the fact that we never caught him. He simply stopped. The killing ceased, and we were left with no answers, only theories. Did he move to another city? Was he arrested for something else? Or did he get bored, finding a new thrill elsewhere? Maybe he's still out there, living quietly, his dark urges hidden deep below the surface. But what I do know is this: the Doodler is still out there somewhere. His victims never got justice, and as long as I'm still working this case, even unofficially, I'll keep looking. Because out there, in the fog, lies the truth, and one day, I'll find it.